live stream finally. Hold on, let me clean the camera lens. That didn't do much of anything, but it's fine. So we got a bunch of stuff to go through today. That's why I went ahead and did this as a live stream. We're gonna do the not so fun stuff first, or what you people, what some people will not think as fun first, and then we'll go into the more fun stuff, and go from there. So let's go ahead and get started. First off, we're gonna go ahead and clear off the desk. But like I said, we got a bunch of stuff to go through today. We got a Lego set to review. We got all of this stuff, or four things back here to review. And it's going to be a wild ride. So let me clear my desk off and we'll get started. So okay, these can get off to the side here. Big boy right here can be pushed over here. Big boy. If you guys notice that if I cough throughout the video, I'm not sick. I do, however, have a very dry throat. So I do have a bottle of water or a cup of water next to me. So that way I can, help my throat not be so dry. Alright. So, obviously there's probably nobody watching right now, which is fine. But you guys remember I did this a while back. This is actually based off of a video game car that I designed in Forza Horizon 3. The Mad Max Dukes of Hazzard General Lee car. And this is as accurate to the game as I could do in model car form. And I wanted to go bigger. I wanted to go bigger. So I was at Walmart a while back. Now I've had this for a while now, but just haven't really done anything with it. But I went ahead and did a model car or RC car size of it. Now this is a this is a Dom Toretto Charger, so it's actually a 70s Charger, not a 69, but it's close enough. And it doesn't look too bad, all things considered. It is missing a few things. I wish the color orange that I chose was a little bit darker, but that's okay, all things considered. Basically the same level of detail on this one as on the small one. For the big one, just a little bit different. Like I said, this is an RC car, so this is actually pretty fast of an RC car, all things considered. The back spoiler is custom molded. All the decals on there are custom printed. I couldn't get the spikes for the fenders like I had wanted, so I just painted them on for now. Maybe someday I'll put actual spikes on there, but since it is an RC car, they would eventually fall off. And the grill guard is not on there either yet. And I can't do anything about the rims because I can't change the rims on this RC car. Believe me, I tried. That's pretty much it. I mean, I tried to... the stuff I added was a spoiler I added, and then this front bumper I added because it didn't look like a Charger on the front end at all. And then I added the front bumper on it, and it makes it look so much better than what it was. If you do a quick little comparison, similar but not exact. So that's pretty much it. Let's go ahead and go on to the Lego set. Actually, we'll go ahead and go on to this next because it's right here. So, as you guys know, some of you guys may know, I collect Funko Pops. Not as much as like 3C Films or whatnot, where it's straight up addiction. But I saw this. I love Darth Vader. And this is supposed to be Darth Vader from the Obi-Wan Kenobi show, which is by far my favorite iteration of Darth Vader. Just because of how badass he was in that show. He is obviously a bobblehead. Really nice detail work. Funko Pops did not used to look like this when they first were released, and I really do like the detail work on all of his mechanical stuff, especially on his head. I didn't think they were ever going to do something like that, but up in his upper control panels and stuff like that, it's really well detailed. Even his lightsaber has some detail work, and he's on a stand that he cannot come off of, so that's a little upsetting. But you know what? It works. It fits. I don't care. It looks really cool. So, Darth Vader. So, next we've got the Lego set, Robert Pattinson's, Batmobile. Now, for those of you who may not know this, this is actually my favorite version of the Batmobile ever because I absolutely love the design choice that this movie did for the Batmobile, basically making it a muscle car, and it is built like a tank, essentially. That's one of the things I never liked about the Tumbler in the Christian Bale films is that it was a tank. It wasn't a car. It was a tank. Which is fine because that just fits with Christopher Nolan's more realistic approach to the, how Batman was supposed to be, or how Batman could be if it was a real person. But I never liked the Tumbler. I mean, it was cool. I had some of them I had some of the Tumbler toys as a kid. But overall, like the Tumbler just did not work for me. It was too big, it was too bulky, it was too clunky, and it was way too destructive. But then the Batman versus Superman Batmobile showed up, and I'm like, okay, it's based off the Arkham games. That's kind of cool. But overall, it was a car, but it was built like a tank. And I didn't really like the look of that. The fact that the whole top half like splits in half, and it was weird. I did not like the Ben Affleck Batmobile. But then when I saw the footage and the functionality of the Robert Pattinson Batmobile, I loved it. I love this version of the Batmobile. I like the design. It's all nice and streamlined because if you guys have read the before the Batman prequel book, they say that Batman actually started building this car when he was like 15 or 16 years old. And it was built just to go as fast as possible without blowing up, essentially. And the streamlined design of the car definitely tells you that this car is very fast. I love the pipes and stuff that they have on the back. I love the giant exposed V8 engine on the back as a kind of a little rocket booster feature that they gave the car. I like the tail lights that they gave the car. I'm only reviewing this one now so that way when I go to this one you'll see why I have minor complaints with the set, and we'll go from there. But I do like the overall design of the actual Robert Pattinson Batmobile, which I was almost able to see in person because I live near Dallas, and apparently there was a Batman convention or whatever in Dallas, and I know this because 3C Films, I believe, also in Dallas, and he dressed up as Robert Pattinson's Batman, and apparently went to this Batman Con or whatever it was. I don't know what it was, but they had the actual Robert Pattinson Batmobile costumes and everything else up there. I'm like, I was driving through Dallas and I look over and see this gigantic Batman billboard. I'm like, I need to go there. But I'm like, no, I have other shit to do. And I didn't do it. And I missed out on an opportunity, man. I missed out on 2 opportunities. I could have met 3C Films because he's one of my favorite YouTubers. And I could have seen the actual Robert Pattinson Batmobile. I would have died a happy man if I could see that. Or got to see that thing in person. So, now that you guys know why I like said version of the Batmobile, let's go on to the actual Lego set. Now, I have massive thoughts about this set. The overall build for the Batmobile is actually really cool. I do like the build of the car. It looks it's recognizable enough for what you can do with Lego. I have seen the big expensive Batmobile that's like almost 120 something on dollars. I may review that eventually. It's like the Technic version. Or sometime I may do that at some point, but not for a while. There's a couple other things I got to take care of before I can even think about doing stuff like that. So right off the bat, I do like the build of this car. It's not bad. It definitely has a striking resemblance to the original car from the films. My only complaint is it's too narrow. Because if you look on this one, the wheels are not exposed. So I mean, they wanted to keep it a certain scale. That's fine. They wanted to keep it about 6 to 7, 8 bricks apart. I get that. Scaling budget wise, whatever. I understand that. As far as play features go, this one does have a missile function play feature, which I think is kind of weird. I wouldn't expect this particular version of the Batmobile to do that, because you don't see that in the movie. Because I've seen the movie several times by now, and for some reason they gave it bullet features as a play feature for the hood. You push these two pegs down, and a couple of little blaster darts shoot out of it, which is fine, for kids and whatnot. But like for me, it just doesn't really look good. The bumper on the bottom is just a that's the comparison there. This one sticks out at least, I'd say realistically, probably another 5-7 inches. This one is like tucked away underneath, which again, is fine for the scaling, because again, it's a kids thing, and they got to have the scaling and whatnot there and whatnot. You can take the top off, and then you can have little Robert Pattinson drive the Batmobile and whatnot. So I mean, the overall build is pretty good. I do like some of the decals that they put on the car with like all the bolts and stuff there. You got some of the bolt panels there, some of the armor plating and stuff there. It gives you the feeling that it is built like a tank. It is solid steel. It is a very strong automobile. And then obviously the taillights on the back of it resemble to a point the one on the back of this one. I just wish they were more that upside down, almost triangular look versus this right here. This reminds me more of like a Trans Am or something, but not too bad. The jet booster print or the rocket essentially on the exposed engine print does look really nice. I like the reflective silver. The actual build for the exposed engine, I think they did a really good job with using some of these more technical pieces and hinges and stuff like that for that. I don't know if these were made specifically for this set. I could be wrong. And then these exhaust pipes up here, I think, are really good. The overall build for the Batmobile is pretty good. It's just, once you get to the minifigures, there were some missed opportunities for me. We'll get to that once we get to the minifigure side of things, but the overall Batmobile on for this set is actually really well done. I do like the way the Batmobile looks. It's fairly streamlined for it being what it is, what it is, because it is it's falling apart. It's overall very simple to build. It didn't take me that long to put it together, because then again, it doesn't take me long to put virtually any Lego set together. Okay, well, I say virtually. The freaking big ass $100 Dom Toretto Charger took like 3 days to build, but that's only because I had to work a lot those weeks. But other than that, and then obviously you can take the flame pieces out, and you can have it basically the car shut down. Now, on to the minifigures. So this is where the set kind of loses me to a point. So let me get the stand out. So we're going to start off with the Penguin here. Now, here's my first issue with this set. In the movie, when the Batmobile shows up, it does chase the Penguin like the set is called. The set is called Penguin Chase. However, where the hell is the Penguin's car? Somebody tell me where the hell the Penguin's car is. The Penguin's car is nowhere to be seen in this set, and they have done sets in the past where they have two different vehicles. There's several with the Batmobile and Two-Face's truck. There's like one or two with Batman's car in the Riddler. There's ones with Batman's plane, the Batwing, and the Joker helicopter. There's several different versions of that have two different vehicles, and I guess this is one that people were gonna buy because it is the Batmobile and it is like the best part of the trailers and the best scene of the entire movie. But maybe that's why they didn't do the Penguin's car for this particular set. For the actual minifigure's design, it didn't look bad. It definitely looks like the Penguin from that movie to a point. I would have wished they had made it look a little bit more, cleaner, but it's a little blurry because I can't, for some reason, get the camera to straighten up. Hey, what's up, man? So, little nitpicks like that. But the weapons, like the gun on his left hand, I can get past that. I can understand that. But the big ass bazooka looking cannon thing, the buildable stud gun, I do not understand this at all. I don't remember something like this in the movie. And it's literally just that it is a weird type of stud gun. So you pull this lever back and it shoots the stud out. I don't remember that in the movie. I could be wrong, but I don't remember that in the movie. I do like the purple lining on this minifigure. Come on, focus. Okay, well, it's not gonna focus. But yeah, I like the purple lining on his suit. It looks really good. Kind of a little bit of more smirk, like haha, I'm gonna win type crap. Very reminiscent to that scene in the movie where he thinks he blows up Batman, but obviously Batman is Batman and has plot armor, so he doesn't get hurt or killed or anything like that. So, Penguin, I'm going to give this figure probably a 7 out of 10. The overall detail work, it looks really good. The hairpiece is okay for me. The weapon on this weapon, I can't get behind. I don't like stud guns all that much, and I know nobody really does, but like including them. But it's an okay thing. It's an okay build. It's I get kids will love the little. Some kids love the stud gun thing. So I mean, it's kind of cool that they included that in this set. But overall, it's. I don't know. I don't like the gun. Other than that, this version of the Penguin is okay. But I do prefer the more classic Penguin anyway. But Colin Farrell definitely did a really good job. As the Penguin, he completely vanished in that makeup and was just really, really well done. So, overall, not too bad of a minifigure. But, now we come to Batman. Now, I'm not going to be harsh on this particular minifigure as some people have. I have seen so many people just straight up hate this minifigure for really stupid reasons. Now, I do have my thoughts on it, but overall, it's not that bad, all things considered. So for those of you who may not know, I recently redid my version of Robert Pattinson's Batman, because the one that I did originally was wearing a black suit. Now, the detailing on these two are the same, so that's not that big of a deal, but there were a lot of people that hated the minifigure because they gave him the standard Batman cape, no dual molded legs, and no different cowl, when obviously Robert Pattinson's Batman has a different cowl. Now, before we get into the detail works on this one, let's go ahead and take a look at the ones that I did. So I gave it as much detail as I possibly could. I did design this before the movie was released, and the image that I saw, I tried to mimic as best as I could, and I personally think I didn't do too bad of a job. Mine doesn't have the dual molded legs, but it has the printing that gives it the aesthetic that it is dual molded, and he doesn't have a back printing because I couldn't find any shots of the back of the suit, and half the time Batman's wearing a cape anyway, so there's no point in that. So here's my thing. I have seen versions of Lego Batman that are done by other companies that give here so that way when you have the helmet on, you can see his eyes through it just like I did with this one here. Lego still has not done that, and instead they just do the white strap or white bar that just signals the comic looking accurate Batman face. That's fine. You know, a lot of people were hoping that Batman and the Batman was going to have the Batman white eyes like he did in the comic books and TV shows and animated films. And then I will say I was not a fan that they did not do the dual molded legs because they easily could have. But to be fair, over. And the printing on the gray for the legs actually does match up fairly well with the actual molded color of the rest of the body. So, you know, it's not dual molded, but it's okay. I mean, it's not bad. The cape, you know, Lego's had the same pretty much Batman print cape forever. I don't think they were going to change it just because it was Robert Pattinson's Batman. The back printing does look really good. I like the silver metallic look of some of the weapons that are back there. I wish he did have arm printing, but that's okay. You know, no arm printing is fine. I do like the reflective chest emblem and belt buckle and some of the other metallic pieces that are printed on there. My biggest gripe is just the face and the non-dual molded legs. I wish Robert Pattinson's Batman had dual molded legs. As far as the helmet's concerned, you know, it's a Batman helmet. You know, obviously Lego's not going to make strictly for one, you know, particular Lego set Batman. So, I mean, to me, the helmet's okay. The overall minifigure is okay. I'm not going to be as harsh as some of these other YouTubers that I've seen that just hate on this version of the Robert Pattinson Batman Lego set just because it's not entirely tickled in design. So I'm going to give this particular version of Batman, I say again 7.5 stars, and out of 10 in quality, or 7.5 out of 10 in quality, because I do like the reflective detailing work on the torso and legs. The leg printing on the actually does match the molding gray that's up here, and overall it's not a bad figure. I wouldn't be as harsh as some of these other people have, because I have seen people just go ham on that set, or on those particular minifigures. Now, let's go on to turtle stuff, because I'm sure that's the one thing people are wanting to see anyway, aside from obviously the Lego stuff. So, let's go ahead and get the turning table out of the way, and we'll go ahead and start off with our first guy here. We've got Slash, the evil turtle from Dimension X. This is a different version of Slash than the one that I already have. If I had the one that I had before, I actually my desk right here, or my computer desk here. This is a comparison of the two. So this one is the one that I had beforehand. This is the one I believe based off the Turtles in Time video game. It has the video game style artwork on the legs and arms and chest, and as well as his shell, which looks really good. So this one's not bad. I do like this version of Slash. I like this one a lot better for several different reasons. So let's go ahead and break this guy down. So one thing I do like is they give him two weapons. I was not thrilled that they only gave him one weapon in this set, or in this particular figure, which is fine. I do like that they gave him the claws, just like he had in that. The shredder blades on this are a little bit different. On this one, they're in his wristband. On this, they're in his hand. And these tend to fall off the hand. So I'm glad that they fixed that and put that in his wristbands. For this one, he does have spiked on his elbow. This one does not have that. And then this one does have the spikes on his knee pads, as well as the claws on his toes. Really do like that. And then obviously his shell is about the same. You know, it's a spiky shell. But this one, where it lacks detailing on this side, the whole shell matches entirely. and I do like the belt that they chose for this version of the character. I also like the level of detail that is on the top of this thing. You can't really see it, but like right around here, there's a couple of black spots to show folds in the neck, and ripples and muscles and whatnot, which I think is really good. The wood stuff up here on this one is enhanced and looks way better on this one because, again, this is a bigger figure. So there's only so much you can do with a smaller one. But even then, this one is still really good. The NECA Corporation has never really let me down before. So this one is no big deal. I like the spots that they gave for him to show that he's a different type of turtle than the actual Ninja Turtles themselves. And then the face. I love the face on this version of Slash. It just looks mean. Like he looks pissed. And another thing I like about this version versus this version is how jacked he is. Like, it's just, when I picture Slash, I picture a big, hulking style turtle, not beaten by freaking Leonardo or Michelangelo or some hell, April could probably kick this guy's ass because he looks puny to the point. This guy I would not want to meet in any alleyway because he's just completely like huge. And that's one of the things I do like about this. That I like that they gave him the muscle to add to his character. I think Slash should be one of those characters that is very strong, very muscular, can hold his own in a fight. And this tells me he can do that. I do like the detail work on his belt. The other one does have the very similar setup with the skull patches and whatnot. This one just has a couple of shurikens and obviously his Slash logo, as long as the two skull and crossbones there, while this one has skull and crossbones and the shurikens, as well as the pouches and stuff on his back. So overall, I do like this figure better than this one. Slash is actually one of my favorite Ninja Turtle characters. Slash was also originally supposed to be the original origin story for Metalhead. Originally, before I made it my own particular character, Slash was actually supposed to be Metalhead. And then it just kind of went from there. So that's something people may not have known. Slash was originally supposed to be Metalhead. And then I never really I couldn't come up with a story that would make sense. So I just kind of made my own thing. And then that's where Metalhead kind of came from. And look at the size comparison on these. So this is a 7-inch figure. This is about maybe a 7.5 to 8 inch. And then this is like I think 7 to 6. And it's really funny on just how much bigger this one is compared to this one. It's so funny to me, at least. So, and then like I said, I do love the weapons that they gave this particular Slash. The jagged sword to me looks really good. I like the touches of white and blue to show shadowing. And then even his other weapon here I think works really well. I am not thrilled that they you can't really put his weapons away. Some of these things you can't really do that, which is fine. And then also, since I like talking about these things too, I love the box printing that they put on these things. This is by far a really good shot of this version of Slash. Like I said, he just looks really powerful, and I like that. This, I believe, is an image taken straight from the comic books, which is something I do like and admire. And then even the back detail work looks really well too. I like how they make him look menacing, even though he's a laughable character. Just like the Man Ray, Jaguar, and Dreadmon. Whatever the hell those are. And I even like his little humorous side that they put here. Where he's trying to be nice, but it obviously doesn't work. I like that they do that, and then obviously he's got the other hands. Because he comes with two different sets of hands. I do like that they did that. So overall, I'm going to give this version of Slash 9 out of 10 because this is really well done. The only thing I would have wished they had done is given his fingernails maybe a different color, um, and maybe done the spikes on his shell a different color like they did for this one. But all in all, this is a freaking amazing figure. Expect to see this version of Slash in a ton of future videos because it just is such a really good, well-detailed figure. I really do like this version of Slash. And he will appear as the main Slash in probably any video that Slash appears in because it just looks really good. This is a really good quality figure. I mean, it doesn't feel cheap. It doesn't feel like some of these older Ninja Turtle figures, like they do have like really loose legs and whatnot. Obviously, this one has the things on his hands that are very loose and break off all the time. This one, these are like full on molded into this whole piece, so I don't think these are going to break off at all. Or if they do, it's going to be a long time before that even comes close to happening. So this is, again, a really good figure, really good build quality, very bulky, very heavier. So all in all, I'm going to give this one a 9 out of 10. It's a beautiful figure, for as ugly as it is. Sorry, give me a minute. I'm going to take a water break. Oh, God. It's so cold. It's good. All right. Moving on down the list, Michelangelo the Mummy. Now, this is an interesting thing. I knew that I heard about these, but I never really saw any of them. And I was at my local comic store called Madness Games and Comics. I go up there all the time. And they had some of these figures. They only had 2 that I was really interested in. I saw April O'Neil and Splinter up there. They did not have Raphael, and they did not have Donatello because Donatello hasn't been released yet. He won't be released until March 2023, which is fine. So when I heard that the NECA Corporation was going to make figures of the Ninja Turtles that are inspired by the original Universal Monster movies, I thought, okay, well, how are they going to do that? What are they going to look like? And then I saw the leaked photos of these things, and I'm like, okay. I didn't find it appealing as I thought I would, which is shocking because I really do like the Universal Monster films from back in the day. I love Frankenstein. I love the Invisible Man. I still have yet to see the Mummy. I like Dracula. I like the Van Helsing. All those classic movie monsters. I do like those and have enjoyed those. So I'm like, okay, well, how are they going to include Ninja Turtles in the mix? And then when I saw this stuff, I'm like, okay, and I saw it at the store. I'm like, okay, because I could physically look at the box, open it up, and then go from there. I'm like, okay, I can see this. This is pretty cool. And then when I actually bought the figures, I'm like, okay, these are really cool. Michelangelo does have some of his upper torso. It's really hard to see right up here, but you can actually see the outer part of his shell up here, and a couple of faint spots. Obviously, it's unwrapped right around there. And then there's a couple of other spots where it kind of peeks out, and they don't skimp on it. Like if you look up here, where it's unwrapped and open, they keep the same paint color right here, up in here, which is really good and really well detailing. His neck up here is all really well detailed. The straps are really well done up here. The overall head mold is actually really interesting. We'll get to the other head mold here in a little bit. And then the overall detailing on his arms and whatnot for the wrappings up here, I think are really fun. I like how they gave him the monster arched hand, kind of like this almost. I like how they did that with all the hands that he comes with. because some of these things come with a lot of these come with interchangeable hands for more collector abilities or play abilities. The feet are a little big for me, but that's okay. They don't look that bad. I do like the detailing on the wrapping and whatnot. The wrapping on his knee pad, I think, is a really nice touch, and even the color green that they use for Michelangelo, because that's the one thing I always hate about Ninja Turtle figures is a lot of times they always screw up the color green that they are, and since this is supposed to be a dead turtle. And it's supposed to be essentially a corpse brought to life. I like the way they made it look like a faded green color. That's a lot of attention to detail. We'll get into Leonardo later, but like this is a really solid figure. Like it's really good build quality. I like the fact that he can you can pose him really well, and even some of the detailing up here to show his wrinkly dead skin. Like it looks really good. This is not a cheaply made figure, but it's still really good build quality. And even then, the chains up here are actual metal, and I love those nunchucks with the oh shit, I can't I think it's the pharaoh symbol. I really do like that because a lot of times in ancient Egypt, mummies were essentially pharaohs that had died. And then his shell. I love his shell. This is so cool. There are so many slight Easter eggs on his shell. There's the original 1984's foot symbol up here. There's a turtle printing down here. The center of his shell has the Egyptian eye right here. I know, this is a really cool figure, man. I love this thing. And it's got the freaking gold beetle on stuff there. There's the printing on his belt as well. It looks really, really well. I can't tell what this is here. It almost looks like a sunrise or whatever. There's two different shurikens there. There's another turtle print engraving right there. Another turtle engraving right there. Looks like another either turtle or shuriken imprinting or engraving right there. And then another pharaoh symbol up here. But then my favorite detailing is actually up here. This is the 2003's Foot Ninja logo. And I'm so glad that they included something like that, because a lot of people nowadays have forgotten about the 2003's Ninja Turtles, except for hardcore fans like me who grew up on that show. A lot of people have forgotten about that, and it's really cool to see that they do include stuff like that in their newer stuff. So I'm really glad to see that they did that. So, and then even on the front of his torso, he's got the Egyptian eye symbol, another Egyptian eye symbol, more wrapping up here, the golden beetle stuff here, the tattered belt there. It's overall a really good figure. So figure-wise on this, I'm going to give it a solid 10 out of 10. This is so good, so well done. I love the Easter eggs and stuff that they give you on the back of his shell. I love the color green that they use for it. The weapons look really good. The detail work is just spot on, phenomenal. The box art is amazing. I love the box art that they chose for this. You got the other, little intro picture there, which looks really nice. If you look on the side, they have all some of the other ones that were released around the same time. You got Hunchback Leonardo, Frankenstein's monster Raphael, and then Bride of Frankenstein, April O'Neil. So, and then you obviously have these hilarious little jokes on the back. Through ancient dust and pizza crust lurks Michelangelo as the mummy. Mikey comes to life. Unbelievable turtle terror awaits. The party dude is out of his tomb. Beware of the curse of Cowabunga. You have been warned. Is he dead or alive? I love the fact that they include hilarious jokes like that, because while to kids this particular version of Michelangelo is scary, especially with this second head mold, and we'll get to that here in a little bit. but it's not meant to take itself seriously, and I like that they do that on the box. They don't take the actual concept of it seriously. You know, the actual figure to younger kids are going to be terrified. I guarantee if I were to give this to one of my, if I were to give this character to a 5-year-old, they would probably shit their pants. Like, it would literally scare the crap out of them. But yeah, like, I love the box art and how they were able to include several different shots of the actual figure and make it work. So now that I've gone through that, let's go ahead and open the box up and take a look at this second head mold, man. Because, like, holy crap, this took me off guard. Oh, is it that? Oh, I didn't realize it was an Egyptian symbol. I thought it was a symbol of pharaohs or something. I didn't realize it was a. Is there a specific symbol in it that it is, or is it just a? Is it just a random Egyptian symbol? So I don't know where these other wrappings go on the bottom here, so I'm not entirely sure where those go. I do like the cobra that they put on there. It does have some printing up here alongside the snake's body. And then obviously you got the interchangeable hands. Now let's pull out the other head. Because what the hell, man? Like, this is creepy. So for those of you who may not know, not too long ago, the original, well, not the original costumes, but the third movie's Ninja Turtle suits were revealed to what they look like today. And this is the Leonardo suit today. Tell me that doesn't look exactly like this freaking head. Like, come on. I guarantee they saw this and they're like, we need to turn this into this. Like, that, it's almost uncanny how similar these two faces are. You know, because you got the nice, completely exposed teeth, and then like the bright freaking open eyes, tears throughout all the skin and stuff everywhere. There's gashes and stuff up here. Like, I guarantee they saw this photo and we're like, hey, we need to put this as our next figure. Like, to me, it's uncanny how similar they decided to make the head mold for this figure to the third movie's suits that they used for the stunt guys to wear those costumes. So that's just me. I could be wrong. It could just been a hilarious coincidence that they look like this. Yeah, I haven't seen anybody else mention that either. But to me, it's either they did that on purpose, and that was intentional. They made the faces look like the rotted suits that are still at Universal Studios or Paramount Pictures or whoever made I think it's Touchstone, the first three Ninja Turtle films. But whatever studio company who did the first three Ninja Turtle films, the third one was not Jim Henson's Creature Shop. I do know that. But the third movie suits have recently leaked online. I don't know how long ago it was. But a lot of them, they do look this deteriorated. And it's so funny how this particular head mold just happens to look like that. So maybe it was done on purpose. Maybe it was done on accident. I have no idea. But I just think how funny and how similar the head molds are. So don't expect this particular head to show up in any videos. This version of Michelangelo will show up in at least one video. I can't exactly say what it is because it'll kind of spoil what's going to happen. But just know that this version of Michelangelo will show up in a video. All of the Universal Monster Turtles will, once they're all released and once I have them all. So once I have Raphael, once I have the Invisible Man until it is released, I will get those two characters and I will use them for at least one video. I can't say what video it is because then it'll ruin the thing. But again, I had to point that out. I seriously am thinking that the NECA Corporation saw the rotted suits and were like, hey, let's turn this terrifying actual thing and make it a head. So it's just, I thought that was something I had to point out. It's just unbelievable on how that actually happened. I don't know if that's the actual case. I don't know if that's what happened. But if I ever meet somebody or meet the person who designed the Universal Monster Turtles, I will ask him or her if that was the intention behind it or if it was done completely on accident. Because it's really funny to me on just how much or how similar those are. So anyway, like I said, I'm going to give this particular turtle 10 out of 10. This is a really beautiful figure. I was very hesitant when I heard the NECA Corporation was going to be making Universal Monster Turtles. I was so hesitant about that. But then when I actually like, okay, I can get behind this. This is pretty cool. Now we're going to get on to what I think is the best turtle line so far. Now I have seen the designs for Donatello as the Invisible Man. I love the Invisible Man from 1933, 1931, whatever it was. I love that movie. That's one of my favorite cheap horror slashers from the from the 1930s. Just because of how ridiculously funny that movie ended up being, and how mind-boggling it was that they were able to pull something like that off in 1933. So, I don't really remember exactly which particular version of the Hunchback of Notre Dame this is supposed to be from, but let me say, oh my god, you guys thought I liked this turtle? This is next level shit. Like, holy crap. I'm still looking at this thing, and I've had this thing for a few hours now, and I'm still noticing a whole bunch of details that I missed earlier. So, for one, if you look under here, you can see some of his cracked, broken chest shell up here. He's got some silver cuffs to show that he was enchained up here and up here. And if you even look, you can see a slight bolt right there on his wrist. I love his shirt. He kind of reminds me of Shrek with the shirt that he's wearing. The only thing he's missing is Donkey. I love the gigantic knee pads that they gave him too, as well as the stitched clothing. To me, when I always think of the Hunchback, I always think of somebody who's wearing tattered clothing that is probably self-sewn because they're just treated like shit. The head sculpt is really well done too. I like the fact that it's uneven. He's got one eye bigger than the other eye, the crooked teeth, the stitching on the front of his face, the bumps and stuff on the bottom of his head, the bumps and stuff on the top of his head, the stitching overall down here, the patching and stuff here, the fact that they included the classic Ninja Turtle belt with the rope. That's clever in my mind. That is so clever that they made the classic Ninja Turtle belt or ninja belt with the rope. Then, if you look down here, he's also got his chained up foot. And again, these are actual metal chains. Obviously, not enough to hurt you if they get hit by it. But then he also has like gigantic, like huge freaking feet. So, which is kind of funny. And so he can't really stand up very well by himself. I mean, he can stand up by himself without the use of one of these plates. But it's just much easier if he stands up on the plate. And then he's got this hilarious padlock on the side of his shell, along with some really good detailing on his back. I love the broken skull, or the broken shell that they have here. And then they added the rusty bolts and stuff on his back to show that it is basically being held together with bolts. I think look really, really good. Ow. Sorry, my neck has been hurting all day, and I'm trying to get it to pop without killing my neck. Oh, I didn't even notice. There's even more stitching and stuff on here on the back of his legs, and even some more padding and stuff on the back. That's really cool. I like that. This looks really good. And if you think the excitement stops there, you can actually open the back of his shell, and like there's an entire freaking compartment of just stuff that's back there. Like obviously there's the skull that for some reason doesn't stay on there. I don't know why it doesn't stay on there. It's on the box and the thing. There you go. So the skull is there. The brain in the jar I think is actually funny because I think this is actually supposed to be Leo's brain in here. So I think this is supposed to be his brain, but then they took it out and put it in the jar because the way it sits on this shelf essentially makes it look like it's plugged into his body somehow. And I even like if you look up here, you can actually see the indentation or where his arm joints are up here. There's little silver pieces in there. I like that they did include that. And then the overall wooden detail that they add to show that his back is essentially in a compartment for tools, weapons, and stuff like that. I think is really funny. Again, I don't think the NECA Corporation was what the fuck? Okay, where's this stupid foot pad? So that way I can. Okay, there you go. Now I can somewhat stand up. So I don't think that when NECA did this, I don't think they meant it to be taken seriously because it's Ninja Turtles as Universal monsters. So what's really cool is you can take the swords out and they do go out through his shell. I think that's really clever to show that way his shell is completely useless essentially, and B, it also gives it the cross member that Leonardo's most well known for having in the books, shows, movies, and everything else. And then he has two different shovels and a bone and a spider up here. The spider is part of the mold of the shell, which I think is really cool. He does come with his signature katanas, which are freakishly huge. But that just goes for the overall scaling of this gigantic freaking turtle. They actually show you on the box how to put the swords in so that way you don't risk breaking the blades. I'm so glad that they did that because I actually did break one of the blades earlier when I was opening the box and whatever and putting them in the hands and taking them out. I actually did break one of the blades off because I thought, I could just move the hands or the fingers open and then boom, there you go. That's actually not the case, and I'm so glad that they actually said, hey, before you do this, these blades are not all strong. And they do kind of give you a warning for that up front. I do like that they did that. So, overall detail work on Leonardo as the Hunchback, I think looks really, really well done. I even like the fact that they gave him eyebrows and a beard. And then the storage compartment on the shell is just hysterical and funny as hell. And realistically would actually be very painful in real life. And then you have the box art. I love the box art. I don't know what it is, but I love when the NECA Corporation does the box art. Because to me it just looks so good. Like I like how you can just see the one eye. And then all the other stuff down here. He does have flame pieces that go on the top of the swords. No, I'm not going to put the flame pieces on top of the swords right now. But again, really good image right here of the actual figure. I like how they were able to pull that off. If you look on the side here, you can actually see all of the Ninja Turtle Universal Monster characters. You have Leonardo as the Hunchback, Raphael as Frankenstein's monster, Michelangelo as the Mummy, April O'Neil as Bride of Frankenstein, Donatello as the Invisible Man, and then Splinter as Van Helsing. Which I think is so wrong because Van Helsing, from everything I've seen, hunts monsters. So does that mean that freaking Master Splinter is hunting his sons? Like, come on, I can't be the only person who thought that. I mean, seriously, come on. I think that's funny. I think that's so wrong and so bizarre that they made Splinter, of all people, Van Helsing. And Van Helsing, from what to the best of my knowledge, is typically the one who hunts down monsters. So does that mean that he's killing his sons if he finds them? Like, what the hell, man? And stuff up here. And even then it shows the back of his shell opening up. And then, like, all the detail work up here for the thing. This is essentially what the flames look like on the swords. Really cool features. But then I like, you know, sees what's lurking down in the shadows. He has the mind for monsters. Witness the horrifying back. The hunchback katana wielding creature feature. Shell bent on revenge. I love these puns that they put in these things. Like, Leonardo to me is definitely the one who would feel the most revengeful turtle, aside from obviously Michelangelo in the Last Ronin storyline. But come on, like, that's a really funny pun in and itself. So Hunchback Leonardo does have a handful of other hands. And just like Michelangelo, I'm so glad that they gave him the monster, like, crinkled hand pose thing that they did. I'm so glad that they kept him with that. Unfortunately, I think it's only for the main hands that he came with. So the ones where his hands are open like this. So unfortunately, it is just those, but that's okay. Overall, this is freaking amazing, man. Like I was so skeptical on when they're like, oh, we're gonna turn Universal Monsters into Ninja Turtles. I'm like, what? But then I saw the box and I saw the work and I saw the figures. I'm like, okay, this is cool. So all in all, man, like, I just noticed this too. There's bugs on his legs and arms, or or lower body. I did not notice that. There's like 2 spiders or cockroaches or whatever. There's like something right there. And then another beetle. Oh, they're beetles. They're beetles. There's beetles right there. Beetle right here. You know, like, they're not cheap figures. Like, this one does have the loose leg syndrome that a lot of the Ninja Turtles have. But, I mean, that's okay. He's going to be standing in my display case forever, essentially. Like, it's not a big deal if he can't stand up. He's going to be on a clear display stand or a clear glass or clear stand like this pretty much all the time. So, but that's pretty much it for this video or live stream, whatever you guys want to call it. Thank you guys so much for watching. For those of you who watched this video at all, I do appreciate that. For those, it's on YouTube by now. So thank you guys again for those of you who may have checked into this video. Oh God, that's so cold, man. So again, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know which turtle was which thing that I reviewed was your favorite. Did you like the RC car? Did you like the Batmobile Lego set? Did you like Slash the big ass Ninja Turtle? Did you like Michelangelo the Mummy? Did you like Hunchback Leonardo? Which one was your favorite? Let me know. I'll see you guys all next time. Peace out. You guys are awesome. Like I did say, all the Universal Monster Turtles will appear in at least one video. Stay tuned for that. Wait till I still do need to get a few other turtle figures before I can actually do those series and stuff that I want to do. So stick around for that. And thank you guys again so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this stream. And I will catch you guys all later. Bye.